Are you gambling or are you actually there to earn money? And she was like, what do you mean? And I said, understand that you are getting addicted to the dopamine hit of actually trading. If there's no trade there, you kind of, I want to trade. So what happens is we step into the casino. And when you're in the casino spent billions of dollars making sure that you stay there and click, right? So it's the same with these trading accounts. Now, you've got to understand that. So you don't become a victim. What you become is a professional trader.
All right, folks, we've got a familiar face in the house. We've got Andy Murphy back on. If you remember, if you've been watching the show for a while, you would have remembered him bringing a whole ton of mindset hacks, a great little series, and we're going to try and replicate that, but with a slightly different bent. This time we're looking at you as somebody going through either a prop firm challenge, or if you're already funded and you're trying to keep that funded account, you don't want to lose that funded account, we're going to help you rewire your brain with a 10-part series that's really going to nail this for you once and for all. So, Andy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, buddy. Really nice to see you. And hello, everybody. And I feel these days, especially now with what's going on in the world, this is kind of important. And that's why we wanted to put this together for people, right?
Yeah. Look, and I think, it's an opportunity that I know a lot of traders really struggle with. They get to that, I'm a funded trader now. I've passed that challenge, which may take them a few attempts. They finally get there. And then for whatever reason, the mindset just kicks in. And I've met so many traders like this, and they'll just lose that account pretty quickly as well. In some cases, like the quickest I've seen is kind of one day. So it's like you've got the account, and the first day you've lost it, and it's taking you months and months to get there. So we're going to start off with a 10-part series. Now, this is we're going to go into lots of things here, folks, that are going to help you. So we're going to talk about like the gambler versus a trader, the dopamine loops, that getting the right state, mastering that state, the professional trader's mindset, anchoring your environment, how you stop chasing those losses if you do have some losses and you want to try and win them back, how being more of an athlete or having that athlete's mindset is going to help you out, and also controlling that inner dialogue and some just instinct and bringing that to the forefront. So there's tons of stuff in the series. Now, we're going to dive in today and just go through the first one. So we want to talk about gambling versus trading. So if you're going into this and you start becoming a gambler, you've just passed that funded account where you've been that trader, how do we interrupt that pattern of that gambler kind of sneaking back in?
Now, if you're loving the show and thinking we're going to go and trade, why don't you check out my prop firm sponsor, Blue Guardian. Now, these guys have been around for ages. They've been sponsoring Trading Up for over a year. And some of the key features that make them so good is that they've got realistic profit targets. For their challenge phases, it's only 8 or 4%. They also have a scaling plan up to $2 million, and they do profit splits of 85%, which is really high for this industry. They also have quick and reliable payouts and a robust reserve that make sure those payouts are as seamless and smooth as possible. Now, if you're looking to join, go and check them out. But first, grab my coupon code TradingNut, all one word. You're going to save yourself 25% off at checkout. There's a link in the description. Go and click that now. Right, let's get back on with the show.
Sure. It's a dramatic shift that people have to go through, right? It's like being an amateur athlete and then go into the Olympics. Well, the Olympics are amateurs, but really they probably shouldn't be, right? But there's a big dramatic shift. It's like going from training camp to the day of the event, where you're ready to win the gold medal. There shouldn't be any difference, right? It should be a smooth transition. But what happens is, and we'll go through more about this, it's like you literally start to feel the pressure, right? And so what that means is, if we're talking technical terms, is your nervous system gets triggered into the wrong thing, right? It goes from parasympathetic, which means calm, and it gets switched into something called sympathetic, which means amped up. But when you're sitting at a trade, right, when you're sitting at your trading desk and you've got everything set up, you should be calm, right? You should be still. But why do you think these funded accounts make a lot of money for you, but they also make a lot of money for them? Well, they're all shiny. There's lights everywhere. They're all certain colors, right? It's like being in the casino. So something I told a client of mine was working through exactly this process with maybe about 8 months ago. And I said to them, are you gambling or are you actually there to earn money? And she was like, what do you mean? And I said, understand that you, and we'll talk about this in like number 2, but you are getting addicted to the dopamine hit of actually trading. If there's no trade there, you kind of, oh, I want to trade. I want to trade. So what happens is we step into the casino. And when you're in the casino spent billions of dollars making sure that you stay there and click and click and click, right? So it's the same with these trading accounts. Now, you've got to understand that, right? So you don't become a victim. What you become is a professional trader. And that's a mindset shift. That's a life shift. That's who you are, who your being has to, okay, now this is about detail. This is about being specific. This is about being on. This isn't a game we're playing, because it's easy in a training camp if you're an athlete, which we'll talk about after. It's easy to be in a casino and just put a little bit of money in. But when you're trading and you're practicing, right, before you've actually got the live account, it's like it doesn't really matter. What's the worst that can happen? Oh, I have to pay another $1,000 and I get in again, right? It's not my money. But when you are in an actual situation and it's a live trade, you have to treat it like it's your money. And what that means is we have to understand our brain. And one of the parts of our brain is called it's called the prefrontal cortex. What the heck does that mean? It means that you have to understand that that's the decision-making part of your brain. It rationalizes things. It's like the CEO of your brain. It's literally what they call it, the CEO of your brain. So it wants to put this and organize it, right? So if we're not in the right state, which we'll talk about, if our nervous system's not in the right place, which we'll talk about, if we go in there in fear, which we'll talk about too, then what we are in is we're in the wrong version of us, the wrong state, which we'll talk about. So what we've got to learn to do is to interrupt this pattern, which Cam was talking about there. And what does that really mean? Your brain, or the patterns in it, we can call them habits, we can call them behaviors, we can call them whatever you want. But all they want to do is loop and complete, loop and complete, loop and complete. Our job as a professional trader is to break that pattern so it's not on automatic pilot. And so we become consciously aware, right, of what's automatically happening. And so that means we're not reacting. So how do we do that? Well, when people are under intense pressure, what happens is we have constant internal dialogue going. Constant. And do you know that roughly 65% of what we say to ourselves on a daily basis is actually on repeat? So if we're stepping into a scenario and we're a little bit anxious, a little bit nervous, where's our focus, right? What images or movies are playing in our head, right? If we're nervous. Well, if we're nervous, right, we're not in the right state, which we'll talk about, then that means our focus is on the things that potentially could go wrong, right? Or it's on the future of when you're going to earn all this money. So you take big risks, right? Dopamine's pumping, you're amped up. There, you can see the pattern. I want to go in, but you're not sure. So in those moments, I want you to use a very simple statement. Very simple statement. And it's going to make you aware of, are you in gambling mode or are you in trading mode? Right? Are you getting addicted to the gambling, or are you getting addicted to actually being at your absolute best in that moment with precision? Simple question. Am I trading or am I gambling right now? Sounds silly, But it's only silly in this one part unless you understand the next 9 steps. But this one question really makes you reset yourself. Am I about to take this trade for the right reason? Am I about to take this trade because I know logically it's accurate and my instinct is telling me to make this trade, right? One thing, am I trading or am I gambling? What happens if I gamble now? What happens if I actually technically trade now, right? Do you see that shift, Cam?
Yeah, I think I definitely see it. And the weird thing is, it's so stupidly simple that anyone can do it, right? And it only takes a millisecond, right? Am I gambling? Am I trading? And all of a sudden, I can even see it in my own mind, like going, okay, that's going to stop me from taking that gambled trade or gambling on that trade. It's going to stop me from. I know that it will stop me from doing that because all of a sudden I'm going to be having to override myself. Right, yes. Because I'm answering the question in my head. Yeah, I'm gambling here, or no, I'm trading here. So, okay, great. I can go ahead and move forward with that trade. Which, as somebody who's trading a funded account and not wanting to lose it, that's a biggie. It's huge, right? Because it is going to stop you from losing that funded account for sure. For sure.
Because what it does is it brings you out of your emotion and it brings you back into logic. Trading is a balance, right, of logic and like that intuition, that instinct. It's like, this is the right moment to go in. But when we're in emotion, the challenge becomes is that we can justify the trade. We can justify why it's the right thing to do. Because, it's good. But you've got to realize the trading platform is a casino, right? And if you're a professionals make money off the amateurs, right? Plain and simple. So by bringing yourself back up into the logic, by making precision decisions, by interrupting this pattern, we can give ourselves the best chance. And that's all we're doing, right? We can only do our best. So the idea in I'll talk about that later with the athlete concept, but when before you've got a funded account, understand what the idea of that is. Before you get a funded account, it's to practice. It's to actually get good at the skills. It's like martial arts, right? You have to hit the pads and spar before you go to a fight. If you go to a fight, you're probably going to lose. If you practice and practice and practice and practice, you get to the fight, it's easy. Trading is exactly the same thing.
Hey folks, what a view behind me. I'm at Black Bull Markets headquarters here in Auckland, New Zealand. Speaking of views, you can get TradingView paid plans for free at Black Bull Markets, saving you up to $600 a year. That's right, get either the Essential Plus or Premium plans absolutely free, and all you need to do is trade from one lot a month at Black Bull Markets. And you can also get a 100% deposit bonus for your first deposit up to $1,000. All you need to do is click the Trading Nut link in the description below.
Brilliant. Well, look, I think that gives people a ton to walk away with here. It might just solve your problem. Now, Andy, we're going to get you back on and do a few more of these. So we've got another 9 to go. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss them. Now, what is the best way if somebody wants to find out more? I mean, what's the best way to connect with you and find out more?
Oh, sure. Just andymurphy.online. You can message me. You can all the rest of it, and you can also check the geniustraderclub.club out.
Yeah, so if you guys want to get more information, more detailed stuff from Andy, then there'll be a link under this video where you can go and check out the Genius Trader Club. We're going to jump in and do and see 9 more of these in the coming weeks. So please stay subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one.